4 brings us stories of everyday people right here in Middle Tennessee who claim they've had their own contact with aliens. Andy Pearson is here now to introduce us to a terrified UFO observer.
And she is terrified. And one thing, you keep in mind is you have to believe these people think something is happening to them. And tonight, a woman who says she is being watched by strangers in the night, creatures who she says are becoming bolder in their visits to her remote home just south of Murfreesboro.
I will not be here by myself. I will not stay in this place by myself. Oh my gosh. Things I never used to be scared of, I'm scared of now.
Deborah Siree brews a pot of coffee for what she knows will be a long night.
Yeah, just the darkness makes me nervous, really and truthfully. Okay, I guess we'll have some coffee in just a minute.
Tonight, she faces down a nightmare that has tormented her all year. She has not been in her home after dark for months.
People might laugh at you, but if they've ever had it happen to them, then they might have a different viewpoint.
On a cold February night, Deborah peered out her backyard window and saw something hovering in the sky near a radio tower behind her house.
The dog next door started barking at night, and because it's in the country, the sound carries, so I naturally looked out the window to see if I could see anything, and when I did, I glanced up at the tower, and that's when I saw some sort of little craft around the tower.
She says it was the first of many such sightings, objects glowing with fluorescent green lights, hovering over her house and landing in her trees. But the most terrifying, she says, was a figure moving toward her through the woods.
I saw a figure with lights in the middle of it, in the body of it, and it was just kind of grayish looking, but you couldn't really make it out. When I saw it come over the fence line in my direction, I left abruptly, but it was definitely there.
Her sketches of the objects show different shapes and sizes. They've drawn the interest of UFO investigator Curt Hughey.
Some of the descriptions of the objects that she saw, they match patterns that we've heard before from other people.
Hughey belongs to MUFON, an organization of UFO believers claiming 3,000 members nationwide. He's aware of public skepticism.
Yes, I think most of it's just by chance, just being in that place at that time.
Come on, go in.
Tonight, Deborah has agreed to allow Hughey and our camera crew to stake out her home. UFO believers call this a night watch.
I can't say that I ever had any interest in this sort of thing, but when it happens in your front yard, you more or less have to pay attention to it.
Nothing really. I'm gonna have to. It's so dim, I'm not sure I can even pick it up through this. I'm excited because there's a possible sighting, but I just have to kind of keep an open mind more than anything else.
There's a lot to look at out here tonight.
Deborah's eyes squint at the night sky. Curt searches the stars with his binoculars. Before long, Deborah spots a distant light she thinks is a UFO.
See over my TV antenna, Curt? Up there in the sky, kind of almost straight above it, not quite.
Right, I can see red and green, white, and then red and green.
Yeah, that's what you usually see.
Curt isn't certain. The object they're seeing appears to be a star, and its movement is in line with the star's orbit. But Deborah insists she's seen similar objects move much closer.
Oh, yeah. In my yard, where you're looking over there in those treetops is generally one of their favorite areas.
Just a matter of keep looking.
Hughey scans the darkness. He knows many reported sightings are not UFOs at all and can be explained.
I see one that looks a little funny looking.
Where is it? And I don't take everything seriously, but I do believe there's something there.
But I don't know. I can't tell for sure because it's so far up.
Tonight, he's uncertain about what he's seen.
Right straight up there, right above the tree line.
I feel that it's possibly a star, but I don't know for sure.
If I'm watching it, it'll come closer, But if other people are watching it, then it'll stay off in the distance like it's doing right now.
To the best of my ability, I'll write down what I feel went on tonight and just log it in. And it'll go in eventually to MUFON headquarters in Texas. But I will be back. I'm not, just because I may not have seen something I feel was a UFO tonight, I won't be just cutting it off. I will be back.
It's a normal reaction for somebody to think this person is mentally imbalanced because they're seeing flying saucers. Well, who wouldn't think something like that? But when you actually see what I've seen...
For now, she has no choice. She must endure what has become a frightening mystery. As we prepare to leave, Deborah does the same. She will not be alone in her own home after dark.
Yes, I am scared. That's true. Yes, at times I do get very angry. I get very irritated to think that I can't live in my own home without being afraid, and it's not right. And I guess that's the way it's going to be for the rest of my life, because I just really, I don't feel safe anymore.
Now, Jeff, I made a mistake at the beginning. I didn't mention up front those little things you saw around the tower. We enhanced those to describe to you basically what the camera would not pick up, and what we, perceived as what she saw, what she told us she saw. And that star in the sky, we just enhanced that a little bit, but that was the Black Night.
Once again, another person who derives no pleasure from having seen, or at least believed what she sees,
And there are so many people...
She's bragging.
Yeah, there are so many people in Middle Tennessee who have seen or felt the same things. And hopefully, if you are out there, you can call us tomorrow night. We're going to have a call-in show with a person from MUFON, which is the nation's #1 and the largest UFO group. And we're going to have a call-in tomorrow night right here on the scene at 6.
That'll be lively.
Hopefully.
Out of this world. Okay, thanks, Andy. We'd like to hear your opinion on UFOs. Our phone lines are open now at 737-4444. We also have an international expert on the line who has studied this phenomenon for most of his life. Andy Pearson is in our studio right now with more. Andy?
I'm over in Studio A, Jeff. We are here live and waiting for your phone calls here at 737-4444. Indeed, this week we've brought you some incredible stories. You remember we showed you some mysterious video shot by a rural Carlisle couple. What was that? Our cameras went along on a UFO stakeout, and we met a surprising number of people living right here in Middle Tennessee who think they've been abducted by aliens. This woman and her son among them.
This is a face of one, and I'm making the eyes right now.
It's hard to explain what's really happening. On the phone now to answer your questions from Seguin, Texas, is Walter Andrus. He's an international director of MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. And Mr. Andrus, you're positive this isn't a hoax.
When you say positive, the evidence is overwhelming that we have UFOs. There's no question about that.
Well, I want some folks to be able to talk to you here in Nashville. We have a caller here. What's your question?
I just think, as a high school student, thought, me and a friend of mine thought we saw something when we were out on the lake. And
do you think it's real, though? You thought it was real?
Whatever it was real. When it was not moving in the manner of any plane aircraft that I had ever seen or known of. And about the time it got around to us, our boat engine died.
And Mr. Andrus, you find that a lot of these descriptions are very similar, isn't that correct?
Oh, yeah. And I think it's also very egotistical for us as humans to think that with all of the planets and moons and stars and everything that we can ever see, plus those that we can't, that we are the only intelligent life anywhere.
Let Mr. Andrus respond to this. What do you think?
I concur with the person's opinion, because we are just a little speck of sand in the wide, wide universe.
Well, what have you seen?
The sightings do repeat. We plug these into a computer, and we have 255 different fields we could measure, and you find that many of these are repetitive all over the world.
Right.
Coming from entirely people that may have read about them, may have read nothing whatsoever, especially people being interviewed in Africa and places like that.
We have another caller for you. Do you mind if I interrupt here? Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I was calling in reference to a thing that we've been seeing here in Centerville. Red and green flashing lights moving at speeds that even the jets that we see go by, they're not going that fast. And you know, we've watched them several nights in a row, and they move straight up and down, and they hover for long periods of time, and it's not like any other aircraft that we've ever seen.
Sound familiar, Mr. Andrews?
Do these objects move across the sky?
Yes, they do. They move vertical and horizontally.
Well, large distances, I mean.
Yes, at very large distances and at very rapid speeds. I've sat out on my porch and with my stopwatch looked at jets as they go across the skyline, and it takes them 2 to 3 minutes, where this object moves in about 15 seconds.
Do you think some of this may be military, Mr. Andrews? Thanks for the call.
Well, no, it's pretty hard to say something that fast if his timing is correct, and we must assume it is, because he was doing the timing. I can't think of anything would meet that specification.
All right, another caller.
Yes, in January, I was downtown Nashville, headed north on 3rd Avenue. I guess it would be north. Mm-hmm. And this big, round, white object came down between the buildings and went right across in front of us and just absolutely just disappeared. And my friend sitting next to me also saw it. There's no way. It did not fall out of the sky. It came in a sideways direction. And I remember, I guess last night or night before last, there was another gentleman on TV here in Nashville saying that showing he had a picture of a round object. And I was just wondering if anybody else in that area around that time had seen anything like that. Yeah. And also, is this something common?
All right. Mr. Andrews?
We have received some reports from Nashville of helicopters over there, mm-hmm. and that might, in flying between the buildings, the helicopter's about the only thing that could do that. I don't think UFOs would take that chance.
All right, another caller. Hello, you're on the air.
I would like to know, why haven't our federal government revealed any type of information that they know about these UFO objects?
Good question.
Our government has taken a stance that there's nothing to UFOs. However, under the Freedom of Information Act, we have recovered 7,000 documents that have been declassified that shows that every military intelligence agency has been involved in the study of UFOs, reporting sightings, and so on. And every intelligence agency within our government proper has been involved since the 1947-1948 era, right up to the present day. These 7,000 documents have been released and declassified for release.
I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to get as many...
that have never been released.
Okay, I just want to get as many callers in because I know people want to call and talk to you. Our next caller, hello.
Yes, I was just wondering, a couple years ago, you had a newscast on a black charred object in Spring Hill. I think Leo Loudenslager. Could that have been caused by alien of some sort?
Mr. Anderson, I know that's tough for you to comment. I guess that's a good question. Sometimes we think of UFOs as being mysterious. Is anything just blatantly physical that you've seen? Mr. Andrews.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I'm unable to answer her question. But, yes, the whole subject is mysterious. It's probably the greatest scientific enigma of the space age. That is the resolution of the UFO phenomenon.
Well, we probably hear a lot of hoaxes, though. I'm sure you have people calling you that these things can be explained.
Well, we find that after a thorough investigation of the raw reports we receive, that means going out and interviewing the people who have had the sighting, go to the scene, try to determine what else it might have been. We find that 80 to 90% of these raw reports phoned to us can be explained as something mundane. It's a 10 to 20% residue that defies any earthly explanation, or we call the real UFOs.
Okay, we have 737-4444, another caller. Hello.
Yes, sir. I was wondering, is there any particular reason or any justification anyone can give as why none of these objects are being picked up by any type of radar device or any other type of military look-and-see type things that they have out there?
Are they stealth?
Yes, UFOs can be picked up on radar quite a bit of the time. They may have a stealth capability, as our stealth aircraft do, but for many years they've been picked up on radar. Jets have been sent out to chase them. So, yes, they are picked up on radar.
Okay, another caller. Hello.
I was wondering to ask Walter what he thought of the cattle mutilations in North Alabama. Are the UFOs involved in that?
Yes, they have been. Linda Moulton Howe has spent a lot of time down there in February and March of this year and has given several talks and shown pictures of the animals, and they have also some videotapes of the lights that have been seen in the area.
You know, I'm not sure this week we really answered any questions. I mean, it's still as big a mystery. When are we ever going to get an answer on this straight?
The only straight answers we're going to get are the ones that citizens and groups like the Mutual UFO Network systematically go out and obtain. Mm-hmm. And eventually the government will come back and release what they know, but it's going to be coming out gradually. When you lied to the public for 47 years about UFOs, it'd be very difficult for any president or any future president to admit the government has been lying to the public.
It'd be the end of their political career, I'm sure.
Yes, it would.
Well, listen, Mr. Andrews, thank you so much for speaking to us from Seguin, Texas, and MUFON and live, and thank you for your calls. I'm not sure we've really answered any questions here, Jeff, but it's been fun.
Well, thank you. It's been my privilege, Andy.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews. Jeff?